We have gender assignments over the years, historically, older couples now, this. Historically, the husband was the money earner and the money controller in many families. But that's changed over the years. As women joined the workforce and started getting more involved in other things besides just rearing children, they got more involved in the money process, which is great. And now I would venture to guess, just from my own experience in my practice, that at least 50% of families, the woman runs the money. And I'll figure that out quite quickly when I'm doing a first appointment with a potential new client. I can see who's in control within 3 minutes. Who speaks first? Who has the file in front of them with all the statements and the list of assets and everything that we tell them to bring with them? Very, very easy to know who's in charge, very, very quickly. And the other spouse sits there very quietly, very obedient. But it's not good. Why is it not good? Because when one person's controlling the money, the other one, not knowing what's going on, could sabotage the family finances by overspending. Also, they may feel slighted. I remember growing up, when my mother wanted something or whatever, she had to ask my father for it, they'd argue about it. Money was tight in my family. And we all know money issues are the number one reason people get divorced. Ask any marriage counselor. It's usually not cheating. It's usually not alcoholism. It's usually the money fighting. And I find that there's a lot less money fighting when you're both on the same team. And your relationship depends on it. So what should we do? All right, in the book I explain that it's very essential for financial success that both partners share in the financial decision-making process. And my treatment, to use our financial physician genre, we do an ailment, we do the treatment, we do the prescription, we do all that stuff with the analogies to medicine in the book. And by the way, the book is free. Anybody who wants one, call my office. I'll send you one free. I'll pay for the shipping. I want them out there. I don't want them sitting in my little warehouse there. And I got a lot of them. We'll send you a signed copy free of charge. Just call my office or send me an email, and I'd be happy to send it to you. So what you want to do, and I say in the book, is set up a financial meeting at least quarterly, if not monthly. Select a time and date when there's no distractions, the kids are in bed, you're not frantic because you just got home from a bad day at work. Maybe a weekend would be a good time for that. Discuss the family bills and pay them together. There is nothing more illuminating for the spouse that is not the managing partner of the money to sit down and see the bills and how much it costs to live. Many spouses are oblivious to that. And that was certainly true, 50 years ago, 40 years ago. But it's even true now. I have men that are in my conference room and say, I have no idea about the finances. She's the captain here. Sometimes it's the wife. Oh, I don't know anything about that. He handles everything. That's very, very toxic to financial health. I'll tell you why. Number one, sooner or later, one of you are going to be alone. I can't tell you how many times I've dealt with a widow whose husband handled all the finances. He died rather suddenly. And now all of a sudden, she's got to make decisions about finances, budgets, investments, taxes, housing issues, when she had no experience whatsoever and may not even have known the ABCs of their finances. Now, this was especially true in the past. Again, we're going back to the past. Nowadays, contemporary days, families are different. But in many, especially ethnic families, Italian, Polish, Russian, you would have the husband who was very secretive about the family money. The wife didn't know. The only thing she knew about money is when the husband admonished her for coming in with all these bags from Neiman Marcus one day. That's when finances came into the discussion. But he never included them on it. Now, that's very rare nowadays. But in this family meeting, this spousal meeting on finances, pay the bills together, discuss them, look at the bills that are draining your budget. Honey, we got a $300 cable bill. Is there any way we can get this down? We never watch HBO. Let's get rid of that. Maybe we should get rid of our cable altogether and just stream YouTube TV or Netflix or Zulu or whatever. There's so many alternatives now. I'm talking about myself, as a matter of fact. I just paid my cable bill last week. It was $285. I said, what am I doing here? That's a car payment. Even the financial physician does stupid things sometimes. I'm gonna cut the cable this week. I'm gonna cut the cable. Now, I tried to, in the past, get rid of the HBOs, the Showtime package, and all the extra bells and whistles. But if you do that, it really doesn't change your bill very much because they increase the rental. Now you have to pay the rental for each box and blah, blah, blah. You still need the internet. And at the end of the day, you're not really saving much. So maybe cutting the cable. And you know, I digress a little bit about this. But it's just an example of something a husband and wife should talk about. If we could save $100 a month, $150 a month by looking at alternative ways of getting our entertainment, let's do it. Then it comes to the debt bills, which is the most important. We're paying our mortgage this month. Let's take a look at the statement. What's our interest rate? What's the balance on our mortgage? We've been paying it for 7 years. It's hardly down at all. If the interest rate's too high, maybe we should discuss refinancing it. Credit cards, the big one. Using a medical analogy, in the book I say credit card debt is cancer to the financial body. It is a debt to be avoided and avoided and avoided in your life. And the answers are obvious. The reasons are obvious, I should say. Interest rates at 25, 26, 29%. In a zero interest rate environment. Another subject that I've railed about before, how they can get away with that. Paying you 1/10 of 1% on your savings and lending it out at 25%. And then anybody, which is probably everybody out there, or at least a good portion of them, that's had big credit card debt. Know what I'm talking about. It's insidious. You feel trapped because the payments you're making are almost all interest sometimes. But look, life happens. I mean, many families are paycheck to paycheck. Sometimes fault of their own because they're living up beyond their means. Other times it's not their fault because they lost their job. So there's no room there. So when the tires have to be replaced, many people don't have that savings. So out comes the credit card. We'll worry about that later. I got to get the tires on my car. I can't get to work without it. And the bank is more than happy to lend you that $500 for the tires and to charge you 25% interest, knowing that you don't have the full amount of money to pay off the balance, and God forbid you're a day late. The interest rates will go up even more. They'll charge you a $35 penalty on top. The credit card industry is the equivalent of the loan shark. And that's what it is. And they're never regulated because Congress is in their back pocket, the lobbying groups and all that stuff. If you think representatives are there to represent you, you're wrong. They're there to represent corporate America and the people who pay them. Another story. But look at those credit card bills and say, honey, how can we get these down? We can't keep paying the minimum. We can't keep using them. Where in our lives can we cut? I'll bring lunch to work every day. Give me a sandwich and an apple instead of me going out and buying a $10, $15 lunch every day. I know somebody who has breakfast out every day and lunch out every day. Add that up. So there's a simple example of maybe how we could save $150 a month. Instead of eating out twice a week, let's eat out once or none. And let's divert those funds to debt payment. And now we make a contract between me and the lovely spouse and say, look, we're going to see next month how good we did. So now we both have skin in the game. We both have accountability. And that's what I mean about this, is accountability. The one spouse, if they're left out on the sideline when the other one's managing money, there's no accountability. And if there is, it's in the form of a fight. Why did you buy that? And now all of a sudden, the non-managing spouse feels deprived, is unaware that our debt has grown so high because we've never talked about it. And there's no plan to manage our finances, more importantly. Stronger, stricter, more responsibly. Also, we're not saving anything, honey. How can we save more money? Maybe we won't go to that expensive vacation this summer and spend $5,000 taking the kids to Disney World. Maybe we'll do a staycation. Maybe we'll go to the Jersey Shore, we'll go to the beach, the boardwalk, and we'll save that $5,000 bill, and now we could divert that towards either debt satisfaction or savings. And if we look at non-essential expenditures for each family, and including my own, how many subscriptions we have that automatically take money out of our checking account or put it on a credit card every month for things that we don't use? An example for me would be Hulu. I'm paying a monthly fee of $12, whatever it is. I never use it. But that every month they still keep taking that money. How about an old gym membership you have that you're not using anymore, but it's costing you $25, $30 a month? Another good thing for spouses to do, sit down together and go through a bank statement and say, okay, this is what happened on our bank account this month. These are the deposits. This is where the deposits came from. Here's all our checks we wrote. And then here's these automatic things that come out. What is this, honey? Oh, it's Stitch Fix. They send you the clothes. I hardly ever buy them anymore. I just send them back, but you're still paying $25 a month. Music services, streaming services that have reoccurring fees on them. So by going through the statement, and if you do it online, what you really need is that when you see a check, you click on it and a picture of the check shows up, so you know exactly what it's for. And see, where is our money going? Similar to budgeting, where's our money going? We know where it comes from. Where's it going? I think we'll be extremely illuminated, both of us, if we analyzed our bank accounts like that. Analyze our credit card bill. Well, wait a second. What is this? $250 at Kohl's? What was that about? Now, again, if you want any success with a spouse, and a lot of times spouses are totally different financially. One's very conservative in their spending, another one's a spendthrift. That's a pretty tough mix. And that could lead to marital strife and financial stress. But at the end of that monthly meeting or quarterly meeting, let's have a monthly goal. And we're going to address it at the next meeting to see how successful we were. Maybe the monthly goal is getting a second estimate on homeowners insurance or car insurance. In 15 minutes or less, you could save with Geico, right? Or Progressive, something like that. Most people could save hundreds of dollars a year on insurance if they just looked. How many of us are so lazy that we just renew? Whether it's homeowners insurance, health insurance, car insurance, Allstate's my company, so I renew. And we don't look into, is there a cheaper place? So that's a good monthly goal, honey. All right, this month we're going to look at all our insurances and see if we can't cut that price. We're going to investigate this month how we can have better entertainment at a better cost. Are we paying too much for that cable bill? Are we paying too much for that lawn service? Is there a better alternative? Maybe we could buy one of those automatic pool cleaners once we pay for it, instead of paying $100 and something a week for somebody to come and vacuum our pool. Maybe our lawn care company, maybe we don't need them. Maybe we can cut our own grass. You have to put a little sweat equity into this to be successful. So this could be a unifying experience. And I tell you, what will happen too is the spouse that's been kept left out finally feels included. Finally feels accountability. Won't want to sabotage the situation. And another thing, what's our financial goals? What's our ambitions? We gotta discuss long-term and short-term goals here. Maybe the goal is to improve our credit. So what's the strategy to do that? Maybe our long-term goal is to pay off the mortgage instead of 25 years and 15. Should we refinance the mortgage, take advantage of low interest rates, and cut the time? Let's look at our budget. Let's eliminate 10% of our expenditures. We got to limit it 10%, so we got to come to a conclusion and an agreement on what we're going to cut. Now, what if one spouse spends too much in retirement? I mean, that's a big problem. You know, you see scenes from old movies, or even I Love Lucy. She'd come in with all these bags and hat boxes and shopping bags from these high-end boutiques. And the husband will like wince, usually in a comedic kind of way. Oh my God. And it's people laugh when they see that. But in real life, overspending by a spouse is a big deal. It's a serious problem. And as I said before, it can damage relationship, or worse, lead to bankruptcy in the family. Or poverty in old age. In a recent survey, about a third of people surveyed said they spent more than their partner would like them to. A third. And 12% admitted to having secret debt. Now that's a bad thing as a spouse. If you're lying to your spouse about your financial situation, that's a no-no. And it's amazing how many people do lie about it. They have a secret credit card that they never tell their spouse about. Or they have a separate bank account where they stash some money. Somebody I know very, very well, very close to me, just lost his wife. And he's cleaning out. She was the one who handled all the finances. She was the managing partner. He had no idea about anything. And now I'm working with him to get him financially functional, where he could pay the bills and write a check and all the stuff that he never did. There's a clear example of one of the negatives of being out of the loop, and then finally being alone and having to deal with it with no experience. So if one's overspending, well, I was bringing up that story. He's cleaning out her file cabinet, and she saved everything. That kind of person that never throws away a statement from 20 years ago from a financial account, or still has their tax return from 1979. He was going through it, and he found an envelope. You know, one of those envelopes that you get from the bank. And he pulled out over $2,000 that was stashed in that envelope. God knows for how long or for what purpose. But money secrets is something you should never do to your spouse. Because when they finally do find out, it's a relationship breaker. And as I said at the opening of the segment, money is the reason why many divorces happen, or most. So both you and your honey should manage the money. I coined that term when I was writing the book. The importance of spousal teamwork, I can't stress enough. As I see families and couples for 37 years, and I notice the difference. I've seen some very, very great teamwork. I have one couple, and I've told them that, a loyal listener to this program, that they are the most fastidious team in their finances that I've ever seen in my career. They talk about their finances all the time. They have short-term goals, long-term goals. They've saved for retirement. They're there now. And they're financially independent because they were responsible. But more importantly, they did it as a team. And they were accountable to each other. So both you and your honey should manage the money together. All right, time for a break. 732-505-1160 is the call number. My name is Lou Scatigna. You're listening to The Financial Physician. Don't go away.